Hi everyone, a very good evening. So in today's class we are going to learn about how can we deploy a application or website that we created. So the first question arises in your mind is what is deployment? So you can understand deployment like imagine you have just finished baking a delicious cake. Now deployment is like serving that cake to your guest in the world of software development. Deployment means taking the finished product like a website or an application that you have made and making it available for use by others. So it involves setting up servers, databases, and everything else needed to run the software smoothly. Okay, just like serving a cake. So deployment ensures that your software is ready and accessible for people to use and enjoy. So now if you want to deploy any project, let's suppose you make lots of project and you want to deploy it, then your project should be in GitHub. Now already I told you about GitHub. What is GitHub? Let me open that. So your project should be there, okay, in GitHub. If the complete code of your project is in GitHub, then you can easily deploy it. Like now I'm going to open my GitHub account. As you can see, it's already logged in, and here on right hand side you get this profile icon. You have to click on it in your system, and there you get an option of view repository. So simply you have to click on it. So inside repository, you get all your project that you have made until now. For example, if you sign up a new GitHub and you have only one or two projects, so you have to deploy that only. So here I have lots of projects. So in this lots of project, I'm going to deploy anyone. Okay, any one of them. So here, okay, here we have a portfolio. So I'm going to deploy this. Okay. So for deploying, what we can do. So let me open this and we can see we have a code for portfolio. We have a public folder, SRC folder, all the thing that required we have in this GitHub repo. And from here we get a link for our GitHub in HTTPS. Here we can simply take this repo link and then only we are able to deploy it. For deployment purposes, I am going to use Vercel because it is free, so everyone can use. So if you are not signed up with that, simply you have to sign up with that and connect it with GitHub. So once you open your Vercel, so here you have to log in first. Okay, so on the time of login, you get this option: continue with GitHub, continue with GitLab, continue with Bitbucket. So whatever you are using. For example, right now I am using GitHub. So here what I am going to click, I'm going with the continue with GitHub. So here they ask you for authentication. So it's already, we open the site. So okay, fine. So here we have to deploy our portfolio, this one. So for that, what we can do, here you get an option. Already these all are the project that I already deployed. So in the same way, I'm showing you how can you deploy your new project. Okay. So here I'm going to click on this add new. Okay, so here you get an option project domain. So here you have to add a project. So you have to click on it. And after clicking on it, what you have to do, you can simply do it from here also, but if you don't have these all things, so for that what you can do, here you get a import third party git repository. For example, let's suppose in case your project is not showing here, actually it is connected with GitHub, so that I got all my latest project here. If in case if it is not connected, for that what you can do, like if it is connected, then simply you have to click on import. But if it is not here, then for that purpose you have to click on here import third party, and here you have to uh, copy this https URL and paste it here and click on continue. And here you can give your repository name. So what I'm going to do, I'm just copying this only as a repository name and pasting it here. You can give any name, it's up to you. And here you have to click on create. Okay, so deployment started. As you can see, you have to wait for few minutes. Okay, like it is taking time in deployment. So till that time, we will understand importance of deploying a portfolio or website. You can deploy anything, not only this portfolio website. Yeah, it's done. So here we get congratulations. You just deployed a new project to Vercel. So in this way, we can deploy any project, not only this portfolio website. You can deploy any project. Now the question arises in your mind, so what is the importance of deploying any website? So here I'm going to explain you what is the importance of deploying. As of now, I deploy a portfolio website, as you can see on a screen. So deploying a portfolio website is like putting your best foot forward in the digital world. It's not just about having a collection of your project. It's about presenting them in a way that showcases your skills, creativity, and professionalism. As you can see here, we deployed it. So 1 minute. Here we successfully deployed this portfolio project. So continue to dashboard. Uh, okay. So now here you get a deployment link or plus your domain. So whenever you click on it, you are able to see your project like on a internet server. They don't mean GitHub. Go to github.com. 1 minute. Okay, so you can simply visit your project by simply clicking on it. Let me remove this here. For example, if you want to go with the server, so you have to click on it. So you have to click on ignore, like this is some messages we get. Okay, you have to simply click on ignore. So here we get our project. So what basically what before we are doing, before we are going on a code on a VS Code file, whatever the, for example, if we have let me show you, if we have a Amazon mini clone, so what we are doing, we are simply going on a VS Code and opening our project, and after that we have to click on go live server. Okay, then only we are able to see our project. Now this time we don't, because we already deploy our project, so we don't have to do such kind of thing. We don't have to go on code and click on go live server. For example, if you install any packages, so for that you have to install that as well. So now we don't have to do such a thing. What we simply have to do, we simply have to deploy our project on any website, not only Vercel, there are Netlify as well. So in the same way, you have to deploy. So after deploying, you can open your project through internet server and you can visit it. So what is the importance? Deploying a portfolio website is like putting your best foot forward in the digital world. It's not just about having a collection of your project. It's about presenting them in a way that showcases your skills, creativity, and professionalism, what you did in this project. So think of your portfolio website as your online identity. It's the first impression you make on potential employers or clients who are searching for talented individuals like yourself. So significance of showcasing project online is that showcasing your project online allow you to reach a wider audience beyond your immediate network. For example, if you send this link to anyone, they can see your project, what you did, what all other skills do you apply in this project. So these all things, these all things are seen by every user whoever visit this link. So they don't have to open the project as a go live server or install any packages. Simply they can see. So what I'm trying to say, showcasing your project online allow you to reach a wider audience beyond your immediate network. It's like opening the doors of your portfolio to the entire world. So by sharing your project online, you are not only demonstrating your technical abilities, but also your ability to communicate and present your work effectively. So having a live portfolio means that your work is accessible 24 by 7 to anyone with an internet connection. So this accessibility is crucial in today's digital age where opportunities can arise at any moment. So it's like having a virtual showcase of your talent that can leave a lasting impression on those who visit your site. In this way, you can deploy any. For example, if you want to deploy any other project, for that, what you can do, simply you have to click on back, go on dashboard. So from there, you can create another deployed project. Let me show you that as well. Okay, so if you want to add another one instead of portfolio, if you want to deploy any other project, for that what you can do, simply you have to go on project section, and if your project is in GitHub, so you get an option like which project do you want to deploy. This time I'm going to deploy, okay, let me see. Let me show you one more. So simply you have to go on your repository, and inside repository we have like in my there are lots of projects that I have made. Okay, we have a task tracker. Let me see it's deployed or not. 1 minute. It's already deployed. Okay, let me check another one. Gym website is deployed. Let me check that. Okay, fine. Let me show you how can you deploy another one. This time I'm going to deploy this gym website. Okay, let me open this. Okay, from here I'm going to copy this HTTPS URL, and after inside Vercel, next what we have to do here, we get a option of add new, and inside that we have to click on project, and after clicking on that we have to go below import third party git repository, and here enter the URL of git repository to deploy it. So we are going to paste that URL here and click on continue. Here you give any name, so I'm going to paste the same URL link here and click on this create here. Okay, it's creating. You have to wait for 1 minute or 2 minutes, not more than that, if you have a fast internet connectivity. So in this way, you can deploy your any project. So what you have, so your project is there in GitHub. Then only you are able to deploy easily. So, okay, it will take time. So let's wait for 1 minute. Okay, so congratulations, you just deployed a new project to Vercel. It's also deployed, and we can click on continue dashboard, and now here we can see our deployed project. So from here, when you click on it, this deployment link, then here you get an option. If you want to see on server, so from here you can see, you have to simply click on ignore, and here you deploy your gym website as well. So whenever you give this link to anyone, so they can also see your project, and they can also see what all other skills do you use in that project, what all other functionality that is used by you, so they can see those all things. So it's easy for you also, and for others also, that they can see your project and clearly they can understand what you did in that. So in this way, we can deploy any project. Now, the question arises that, uh, okay, let me make one more new file. Okay. So here the question arises, is hosting and deployment are same or different? So hosting is there also. So let me explain you that as well. Hosting and deployment are same or different? So, hosting and deployment are related but distinct concept in the context of web development. How? I will explain you. Hosting, it's like finding a place to put your website so others can see it. It's where all the files and data for your website is live. Whereas deployment, it's the process of getting your website or app ready and putting it on the internet for people to use it. It involves setting everything up so that your website can be accessed by others. Hosting is a part of the deployment process because your website need to be hosted somewhere in order to be accessible online. Okay. There are lots of hosting options. Let me tell you that as well. Like we have a traditional web hosting. So what is this traditional web hosting? In traditional web hosting, renting space on a server to store your websites and files. For that, you can use that as well. Then we have a cloud hosting. In cloud hosting, renting virtual space on server provided by big companies like Amazon or Google. Then we have a static site hosting services. Static site hosting services. So the static site hosting services, free or low cost services for hosting simple website. Example, right now we also did static site hosting services. For example, GitHub pages, Netlify, Vercel. They are easy to use, often free, and ideal for hosting portfolios, blogs, or simple business website, or your any project that you have made. It's totally free. So here also we are using this static site hosting services for deploy a project because it is free and it is available for everyone. So that's why we use this. So inside static site hosting services, we don't have Vercel only. We don't have Vercel. We have more like Netlify. We have GitHub pages. So in this way, we can host our services. Then next we have a domain name. What is this domain names? Okay. Now, what is this domain names? Domain names, you can understand. I will explain you what is domain names. Your website address on the internet. Like whenever you have to visit on Google or Facebook, what you have to do, you have simply like google.com, then you can see the interface of Google. If you want to visit on Facebook site, so simply you type facebook.com. So your website address on the internet is called domain names. Okay, now got my point. What is domain names? The address of your website on the internet. Like we have a Google page. So for Google page, what address we have? Google.com. For visiting Facebook page, what address we have? Facebook.com. Simply we type facebook.com. And when we click enter, we are able to see the interface of Facebook login page. So this is our domain names, bought and managed through companies like GoDaddy or Namecheap. So act like your online identity or storefront address that we call domain names. Let me write here. Domain names, your website, you can say your website address on the internet. Example, google.com. Okay, so now you understand what is domain name, whatever the address of your website on internet, that we call domain names. Now I want to give you the example of hosting as well. So imagine you have a website called myportfolio.com. Okay, I'm not giving the example of okay, so you have a, just suppose, just imagine you have a website called myportfolio.com. So you decide to host it with a hosting provider like GoDaddy or Bluehost. You sign up for hosting plan, and your website files have HTML, CSS, JavaScript, images, and whatever thing we have, etc. we have. So are stored on the hosting provider server. So when someone enters myportfolio.com into their web browser, so the hosting provider server deliver the website file to the visitor browser, allowing them to see your portfolio. So that we call hosting. And what is deployment? Let's say you have been working on a new web application uh, that called task manager you are working on. So after completing development and testing on your local computer that it's working fine, you are ready to deploy it. Okay, when we check on our local, for example, if we make any project, for example, we make a Amazon mini clone. So first we check on our local, like it's working fine or not. And if it's working fine, then only we thought about deploy a project. So for deploying your project, you choose a platform like Heroku, or you can choose a Vercel. You can choose any. You go through the deployment process, which involves setting up a databases, configuring the server environment, and transferring your application file to that server, whatever you are using, whether you are using Heroku's or whether you are using Vercel. So once deployed, user can access the a website that you are making. For example, task manager you are make. So the user can access the task manager by visiting its URL, and they can start managing their tasks online. In this way, you can do deployment. So now you got to know what hosting is and what deployment is, and what domain names. And with that, you are also able to now, once you try in your own also, like first you have to post your code on GitHub. The first step that you have to do. Once your code is visible here, like you are successfully post your code on GitHub, then it's very simple for you to deploy it. What you have to do, you have to use a free service first, and after it you can use paid one as well. So here, where is our Vercel? Okay, so here simply what you have to do, you have to click on add new, and here you get an option for project, and you have to click here, and then you have to deploy any of your project that is in your GitHub, and make sure this Vercel is connected with your GitHub account. Then only you are able to see this option here. So in this way you can deploy your project. Now, with that, I hope you may understand, and if you try by your own, then all your doubts may clear. So okay, with that I'm done here. Okay, so if anyone has any question regarding what we have covered so far, including HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and today's lesson on deployment, so you can feel free to ask in the chat box. I will do my best to provide answers to everyone. I'm waiting for your questions. If you have any doubt till now, you can ask in today's class in the chat box. I'm ready to give your answer. I'm repeating. Anyone have any question till now? They can ask to me in the chat box. Okay, Himansu had asked question: if we change our code on Git, then will it also change to our hosted website? No. No, Himanshu, no. Changing the code on Git does not automatically change your hosted website. Git is a version control system that helps you manage changes to your code base. So when you make changes to your code and push them to a Git repository, those changes are stored in the repository's history. So to update your hosted website with the changes you have made in your Git repository, you typically need to perform a deployment process. Okay? Yes, one more question I got. Like GoDaddy. Okay, GoDaddy, Google also provide domain name. What the difference? Uh, okay, so Google Domain and GoDaddy offer domain registration services. Okay, but they differ in terms of their user interfaces. We can say services, pricing structure, and customer support option. Your choice between the two would depend on your specific needs or preference and the level of integration that other services provided. It's depend on that. Any question related to HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you can ask that as well. Only two people have question, Lakshmikant and Himanshu. Is there anyone who want to ask question? Not only today's session, you can ask related to HTML, CSS, JavaScript as well. Okay, if you don't ask question to me, then I start asking question with you all. Okay, no worry. Okay, fine. So you will get your final assignment in group. So you have to do that. And one more thing I have to show you here only. The assignment that you got related to that only I'm going to share. Let me open the YouTube first. Let me show you because the assignment that we are going to get today, it's related. You have to make something related to that only. So from here you can take a reference. So here we have a complete company website. So you also have to make some assignment like this. And from reference, as I'm showing you, Like that you have to make. Here also we use HTML, CSS and JavaScript. In this way you have to make a complete project. Hope it's visible to everyone. Let me confirm once it's visible or not. Okay, from here you can take a reference, like how you have to make a complete website using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And in this way only you have to make the complete website. Once you make a complete website, then after that you have to do the complete process. You have to push your code on GitHub, then you have to deploy it. For deployment purposes, you can use Netlify, Vercel. It's up to you. Whatever you like, you can use. In starting, you can use free services only. That we call static. Okay, what we call, I also forget. Static site hosting services. Okay. So in this way, you have to make a complete website. Let me show you. So you can take a reference for here, a reference from here, and make your website related to that only or similar to that. Okay, you can change the content. No need to copy the same one. You just change the content and make by your own. This is a simple website where we're using simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And now you also got to know how we can give animation to particular element or particular box. For animation you can use GSAP. Okay, fine, so you can watch this, because in this video you get code as well. If you want to take any help from here, you can get. No need to copy all the code from here only. You can take as a reference. And because sometimes we don't know what CSS we can apply to make it attractive. So on the time for taking help for CSS, you can see that video. See this video. With that, we are going to end this session here only, and you guys will get your attendance link. So fill your attendance sheet.